there, and welcome to Storytime with Kay. Today we will read Sophia the First, The Royal Games by Catherine Hapka with illustrations by the Disney Storybook Artists. This book was published by Disney Press in 2014. One beautiful day in Enchantia, 3 grand coaches coast to a landing at the royal picnic grounds. The herald announces the arrival of 3 royal families from 3 different kingdoms: Wailing, Caldone, and Enchantia. The Tri-Kingdom picnic is no ordinary picnic, Amber tells Sophia as they climb out of their family's coach. Sophia looks around at all the people, the fancy tent, and a buffet table piled high with delicious food. I am starting to see that. Sophia greets the princesses from the other families. Princess June of Wailing is sweet and silly. Princess Maya of Caldone has a friendly grin and a sporty look. Sophia can't wait to get to know them better. "Sophia!" James exclaims, running over. "You've got to see this!" He leads her to a huge trophy, the golden chalice. All the kids at the picnic play games, and the kingdom that wins the most games gets to keep the chalice until the next picnic. James says, "I've always wanted to win it." James explains that Amber doesn't like playing the games. He's hoping that Sophia can take Amber's place this year. "Teammates?" James sticks out his hand. Sophia smiles. "Teammates." Sophia and James change their clothes. Then Sophia meets Maya's brother, Prince Khalid, and June's brother, Prince Jean. Bailiwick calls for the first game to start, flying horseshoe toss. At first, Sophia doesn't understand why it's called flying horseshoe toss. Then she sees the wings on the horseshoes. That makes the game extra tricky, since the horseshoes like to swoop off course. Jin goes first, and his horseshoe lands nowhere near the stake. "Good try, Jin," Maya says. June's horseshoe lands on the buffet table. "Oops," she giggles. "Someone tell my horseshoe it's not time for lunch." Then it's James's turn. His horseshoe lands near the stake. "Best throw so far," Jin says. Princess Maya goes next. Her horseshoe lands even closer to the stake than James's. "Nice one," Khalid says. "Sophia, it's up to you," James says. "If you get closer than Maya, we win." Clang! Sophia's horseshoe hits the stake. "Way to throw!" Maya cheers. Sophia jumps up and down. "I did it!" she cries. "Enchantia wins," Bailiwick announces. "We won!" James exclaims. "I've never won before." "Nicely done, Sophia," Jin says. James points at the others. "We're the best," he shouts. "Enchantia's going to win this year." "All right, we heard you," Jin says. James ignores him. "Come on, Sophia, let's go win the next game," he cries, rushing off. Sophia is surprised by the way James is acting. "He's just really excited," she tells the others with a sheepish smile. Maya frowns. "I guess so." Bailiwick calls, "Time for the golden egg on a silver spoon race." Sophia balances her golden egg carefully. When Bailiwick says, "Go," she races onto the course. Splat! Splat! June and Khalid drop their eggs within moments. Maya stumbles and almost loses her, but catches it just in time. "Nice save," Sophia tells her. "Sophia," James says, "this is a race. There's no time to talk." That distracts Sophia. Splat! James and Maya keep going. James almost wins, but at the last second, Maya passes him. Everyone congratulates Maya. Everyone except James, that is. Splat! He throws his egg to the ground. "I would have won, except the sun was in my eyes," he complains. "What a sore loser," Maya whispers to June. Sophia hears her. "Sorry again," she says. "I'll go talk to James." Sophia finds James getting ready for the next game. "Could you be a little nicer to the other kids?" she suggests. "I'm not doing anything wrong," James insists. "I'm just trying to win." "But James," Sophia begins. It's no use. James is already rushing off. The next game is Tri-Kingdom Triplinet. James plays hard, doing everything he can to keep the ball from touching the ground on Enchantia's side of the triangle. In the end, James and Sophia are the winners. "We won and you lost," he jeers at the other teams afterward. Sophia tries to stop James from taunting them, but he won't listen. "We don't want to play anymore," Maya says at last. "We don't either," Jin agrees. "If you want the chalice so badly, you can have it. We quit." "Sorry, Sophia," June adds. James shrugs. "I don't get it. Why is everyone quitting?" he asks Sophia. "Because they're not having any fun," Sophia says. "You've been a bad sport all day. I don't want to be your teammate anymore." "Sophia!" James exclaims, sounding upset. "Come back!" As Sophia hurries away, she notices the adults playing a game nearby. They're all laughing and having fun. None of them seem to care who is winning. That gives Sophia an idea. "There's something you need to see," Sophia tells James. She drags him over to watch the adults play bewitching bowling. James sees his dad mess up his turn and laugh. "Oh well," King Roland says. "Better luck next time, I hope." "See," Sophia says to James. "Games are supposed to be fun, whether you win or lose." "I guess I haven't been much fun to play with," says James. James finds the other kids and apologizes for being a sore loser and a sore winner. "I forgot that the Tri-Kingdom picnic is all about getting together and having a good time. I'm really sorry." The kids decide to forgive James, and the games continue. At the end of the day, Caldone wins the golden chalice. And Sophia is happy to see that nobody cheers louder than James. "Maybe next year we'll win," she says to him. "Teammates?" He grins and shakes her hand. Teammates. The end.